Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. And there's a few cases that we're following at the moment really are crazy, aren't they? Just when you think nothing more crazy can happen, something more crazy happens. So yeah, it is a crazy world. It is a crazy world. But we have to remember that most people in the world are good and nice, and they don't all go murdering babies and making up kidnap stories and poisoning their relatives, all those kind of things, or, killing their children. This is not the norm. This is not, definitely is not the norm. But, there are crazy things that happen out there. So we're going to look at 4 cases this morning. We're going to have an update. I think we're going to start actually with Lily and Jack Sullivan, who are 2 children who went missing. We're going to start with an update on that case. They're being searched for. They haven't been found. There's a lot of searching for children, isn't it, in the cases that we're following at the moment. So Lily and Jack Sullivan, we're going to have the latest on them. We're then then we'll have the latest on baby Emmanuel. This little 7-month. Well, I mean, the thing about baby Emmanuel is they're saying he may well be older than 7 months. How do they not know? I just don't understand how they don't know for certain, because surely he's got a birth certificate that will say how old this baby is. It reminds me a lot, this case, of the Karen Durning case over in Ireland, and they still haven't found that boy's body, though they think he's deceased. And they're finding it difficult to put an exact age on him. So there's some talk, but again, we don't know what's true until the official, until the actual official information comes out, is that he may not be 7 months old. He may be older than that if he's deceased. So he may have been 7 months old, quite a few months ago, and his true age is not clear, or when he actually disappeared, is it? Because people haven't seen him for months, and then suddenly he's supposed to have been kidnapped. But anyway, we're going to talk about that case next. There's some even crazier things come out in that case. You just think, you talk, that poor baby was born to a psychopath father who seems to like strangling babies, and a thicko mother who hasn't got a clue. Well, if we give her the benefit of the doubt, she's either a thicko or she's actually, if not as bad as Jake, even worse. So we're going to talk about that, updates on that, and then we're going to have a little, we're going to look at the updates on the Travis Decker case, another brilliant father who murdered his 3 children, and he cannot be found. About the latest on the search for him. I think they're going to find him. But anyway, time will tell. How long it'll take, I don't know, but I do think they're going to find him. Deceased, in my opinion. And then we're just going to have a quick look at Erin Patterson. There is no more to report today. There was no court hearing today. It actually finished yesterday. The next news, officially, if you like, on Erin will be 8th of September, I think it is, 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, on a Monday. But just a couple of things I wanted to show you that I thought you might find interesting. So that's what we're going to talk about. We've got a lot to talk about. As usual, I want to say thank you to everybody for watching, for liking, for subscribing. Special thank you as ever to my members. Special thank you to people who buy me Ko-Fis or send super stickers or PayPal me, send nice emails, give me information about cases, leave nice messages. Thank you so much. And don't forget to visit the shop. If you are interested in any merchandise, it's on the Ko-Fi page, the Vicky Marie chat shop. As usual, it needs updating. I'm always forgetting to update it, but I will. It's on the to-do list. It's cooling down a little bit here. Those of you who don't know me, I'm based in Spain, in Europe, in mainland Spain. It's been extremely hot here. It has cooled down a little bit, but it's still 27 degrees, a little bit sultry. But I do feel like my brain's working a bit better now. When it got to 45 degrees, I don't think my brain was working properly. And it doesn't work properly at the best of times. Okay, so thank you. So now I want to say hello to you lovely lurkers. Thank you so much for watching. I know not everybody wants to come into the chat. Thank you to loathsome lurkers. Thank you for watching, helping with my algorithm. And thank you to Replay Crew. Thank you so much for those of you who'll be watching on replay. And now I'm going to see who's in the chat. It's a bit quiet this morning. What's going on? Where is everybody? Normally we have quite a lot of people in chat, but maybe I'm a little bit early this morning. Hi, Lily. Lily's the only one brave in the chat. Say hello. But I'm sure more people will come in as time goes on. So where we're going to start? I want to start with Lily and Jack Sullivan. So for those of you who don't like waffle, as you know, I like a little bit of waffle. I haven't really, I'm not going to waffle about much today, but obviously I'm talking about 4 different cases here, so it's going to be quite a long stream probably. I know some of you don't like the long streams, so don't forget I always then at the end I'll divide it into 4 shorter videos, release those as videos. So if you don't want to watch the whole thing, maybe you're only interested in I don't know, the Jack and Lily case or the baby Emmanuel case, then I will be releasing these separately. So you don't have to sit through the whole thing if you don't want to. What was I going to do then? I was going to put up, yeah. So if you don't like the waffle, and for those who can't see it, maybe over on my Spanish and English channel, on the Vicky Marie Chats channel on the membership, we've got some special emojis that only the members can use. One of them is the waffle emoji. I've just put that up there. And Lily Pauly likes the waffle, loves the waffle. That's it. See, a lot of people love the waffle, so I try and keep everybody happy. As usual, I do the waffle, but then later I will cut the video up into smaller videos for those of you who don't like the waffle. So I'm enjoying a cup of coffee this morning, actually with myself. I hadn't realised I've actually got my Vicky Marie Chats mug this morning. Vicky Marie and a cup of tea, but I've actually got coffee in it. May your God go with you. So yeah, we're going to start off by looking at, now we haven't looked at this case for a while. It's very, what's the word? It's a real mystery. All these cases are mysteries. That's why we're interested in them, isn't it? Because there's people going missing, even children, unfortunately, going missing all the time, which is so very extremely sad, but it's a sad fact of life, really. All over the world, of course, don't forget. I mean, there are billions of people in the world. There are children going missing very often. And what happened in this case, this was literally, supposedly, okay, this is a story that the mum of these 2 children, Lily and Jack, let me put their pictures up. Yeah, the mum of these 2 children, Lily and Jack Sullivan, and the stepdad and their other sibling were apparently all asleep. And Lily and Jack were playing, and then suddenly they noticed, the stepdad and the mum suddenly noticed they couldn't hear them playing anymore. And when they went outside, Lily and Jack had disappeared completely into thin air. Poof. You know, like sometimes they say people do, but of course we know that they don't. People don't disappear into thin air. They're always somewhere. And these two children, so there's been intensive searches. You can imagine that a lot of the spotlight has gone on the parents, the mum, the biological mum and the stepdad, who were supposedly sleeping at the time with Lily and Jack's sibling, a baby. So they've taken a lot of flack, if you like, and also their biological father. He's been interviewed. Aspersions cast on him. When children go missing, the suspicion, if you like, or the attention is always on the family first, as it should be, because quite often, it is the family, sadly, as in the case of Emmanuel, baby Emmanuel, whereas, you always, it's just horrible for children to go missing, but it just seems even worse when it's their own parents, the people, that they should be able to trust. At the end of the day, if you can't be safe and secure in your own home, where can you be safe and secure? But unfortunately for many children, home is not a safe place, is it? Home is definitely not a safe place. Now, as far as Lily and Jack are concerned, we don't know that, whether the home was a safe place for them or not. The police have not released any information to say that it wasn't a safe place for them. And now we're going to look at the latest, or I say latest, it's a couple of days ago this news came out, but I just haven't had a chance to update you all. About polygraphs and bits of Lily's blanket that have been found, etc. But still, this case is a complete mystery. These children have disappeared in a puff of smoke, it feels like, doesn't it? So let's have a look. So Lily and Jack Sullivan update, polygraph test results revealed. Now, as we know, polygraph test results cannot be admitted into a court of law. So, in some ways you could say, oh, well, you can take them with a pinch of salt. But of course, the law enforcement use them as a guide, don't they? At the end of the day, if they do a polygraph test, like on Chris Watts, remember, he volunteered to have or agreed to have a polygraph test, probably thought he could beat it, because sometimes people do beat them and they're not 100% accurate, either way, to say someone is lying or isn't lying. But he, of course, was found to have been lying. Sometimes they're very conclusive, sometimes they're inconclusive, sometimes people will say, oh, it's difficult to say exactly. So, it's not 100%, doesn't mean to say that the people that have taken polygraph tests in this case are innocent. What it means is they probably are innocent. And the law enforcement will use the results of polygraph tests, won't they, to direct their future investigations? No? Just a guide to them. And they're a helper, like if somebody fails a polygraph test like Chris Watts did. I don't know if you watched that interview that then the woman who took the polygraph test, or the police officer, sat him down and said, look, you failed this polygraph test, and used it as a tool to crack him open. And that is basically the purpose that they serve. So new details in the case of missing siblings Lily and Jack Sullivan were released in court documents, including the result of polygraph tests administered to their parents. Now, the only thing that has always struck me as strange in this case, and I don't like to jump and assume it's the parents, but their mum, she did, Malaya, she left the area the next day. That's always struck me as strange, just because if my child had gone missing from home, now, I know you couldn't stay there forever. Like if years went by and your child still hadn't come back, or even months, maybe you would have to go, especially if because she's got a baby, she needed support. But fancy the next day going, because they could have, that's when you'd be expecting them to come back, within the first couple of days, wouldn't you? And you, as their mum, you would want to be there because they'd be scared if they'd been lost for a couple of days. They'd be scared, wouldn't they? They'd want their mum. So that's the only thing that's ever struck me really strange in this case, is why Malaya decided the very next day to go off from where her children had gone missing. Strange that. But, who knows what you would do in that circumstance. So they disappeared from their home in rural Nova Scotia on May the 2nd, prompting weeks of searches by law enforcement through dense forests. So Nova Scotia is in Canada. The court filings show at least 4 polygraph examinations were conducted by investigators. So 4. And, the stepfather, he did, Daniel Martel, he did do an interview not long ago, and he said he had passed the polygraph test. So it seems like it's true that he did pass the polygraph test. Maybe he's passed 2. So where does that lead us? For people who feel that Daniel is responsible, or Malaya, or both of them together, where does this leave it? When they're passing all these lie detector tests. So initial polygraphs for the children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, and their stepfather, Daniel Martel, had indicated truthful answers. And although Newsweek has reached out to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, I don't think they have commented. So the case of Lily 6 and Jack 4 has drawn international attention after they were reported missing from their home in rural Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, earlier this year. Now, the other thing it's important to point out is where these children went missing from. So remote, such a remote area. You've got their cabin and it's sort of in the woods. Now, there is a road not far away, running parallel to the home. So cars would be going past occasionally, but there's no neighbours. It's a very remote area, and that is something it has in common with the area where baby Emmanuel has gone missing from. Remote areas, so difficult to find, especially children in those areas. I mean, you could literally search these areas 10 times, not find anything, and then on the 11th time find something. One thing I've come to realize through covering true crime is how difficult it is to find a body, anybody, even an adult's body, even a group of bodies, but especially children's bodies are so difficult to find, aren't they? It's just not easy, even with dogs and cadaver dogs, etc. So the release of court documents sheds light on investigative steps taken by the RCMP, including forensic testing and wide-ranging record requests, and clarified that investigators have not established reasonable grounds to treat the disappearance as criminal. So they're still not treating it as a criminal disappearance. So they were first reported missing at 10:01 a.m. on May the 2nd. And we're now on the 26th of August. So within a couple of days, it will have been 4 months. Police arrived at the home shortly thereafter at 10:27 a.m. Surveillance footage showed the children with Brooks, Murray and Martel outside a local Dollarama the day prior. So they were seen in a family environment the day before, out, at the shops. And the couple told investigators that the siblings had possibly slipped out of their sliding door as the parents slept in another room with their infant child. And according to the court records cited by CTV, Brooks, Murray and Martell were first given polygraphs on May the 12th, so quite a long time ago. The couple were then given subsequent polygraph tests 3 more times during the investigation, and in each session, Brooks, Murray's and Martell's results indicated they were telling the truth. So what do you make of that? So many people thinking that they're involved in it, but, are they? Additionally, the children's biological father, Cody Sullivan, was given a polygraph on June the 12th, and his answers were truthful. I'm going to put a picture of these. I've got a picture in here somewhere. Oh, I don't have a picture of him. I've got a picture. Oh, there you go. I wanted to put a bigger picture up. So, yeah. What do you think? Do you think those polygraph tests mean that they are innocent, or do you think they're just being very clever? So additionally, the children's biological father, Cody Sullivan, was given a polygraph on June the 12th, and his answers were truthful according to these documents. And the children's step-grandmother was also considered for a polygraph exam on June the 10th. However, her physiology was not suitable for analysis, and an opinion on the polygraph examination was not rendered. So I don't know what that means. Her physiology was not suitable for analysis, but anyway. The court filings also listed the items that were seized by investigators. They included the children's toothbrushes, which will be for DNA, won't it? A sock, and pieces of a pink blanket that family members confirmed belonged to Lily. One piece was in a tree near the home, and another piece was later found in a trash bag at the end of the driveway. And then the pink blanket was found about less than a mile away in the woods by family members on the day they were reported missing. So did they go into the woods? Has some harm befallen them? Because if they went into the woods, they would be deceased by now. They couldn't survive all this time alone in the woods. Are they in those woods? Anyway, investigators also examined clumps of boot prints in 2 sizes that were found in nearby woods. Now that's new, because before they only talked about 1 boot print, didn't they? And now we talk about clumps of boot prints in 2 sizes. Did they go into the woods as something happened to them in those woods? I just don't know. Anyway, the documents showed investigators sought multiple court orders, including requests for cell phone records, banking records, and highway video surveillance on drivers leaving Nova Scotia between May the 1st and 3rd. They also recorded receipts of hundreds of public tips and a witness account of 2 children walking towards a tan or gold sedan on May the 2nd. Was that Jack and Lily walking towards a car? Because there is a road right near their home where you could see it. Somebody could pick children up easily if they'd walk towards a road. So here they are, poor things. Where are they? So you have to hope, in a way, the best hope is that they've been kidnapped by someone, like all children that go missing. It's almost the best hope is that they have been kidnapped and someone's keeping them safe somewhere, not hurting them. Because the alternative is that somebody's kidnapped them and killed them, or that they've got lost, gone into those woods and something's happened to them. Maybe they're in the river, or, I just don't know. I mean, you hope beyond hope that they're okay, but how can they still be okay after all this time? So much time and time. In the case of missing children, they call, the golden hour they talk about. The first hour after a child goes missing is like the golden hour, isn't it, where you have the best chance of getting them back. And then every hour after that really, is just gets less and less likely, doesn't it? So, an unidentified investigator wrote in the court documents, at this point in the investigation, Jack and Lily's disappearance is not believed to be criminal in nature. I do not have reasonable grounds to believe a criminal offence has occurred. And because Jack and Lily are still missing, polygraph examinations were conducted with the intention of ruling out that possibility. And Belinda Gray, the children's paternal grandmother, said, what did CPS do? What part were they investigating? What were their concerns and what were they doing? They might even have answers for the investigation on what happened to them or why it might have happened to them. And then just forensic testing continues. So the search continues for these poor little children. But I just wanted to give you that update. So, at the end of the day, we cannot cast shade on the mother and the stepfather because they have passed several polygraphs. As I say, though, the only thing that ever seemed strange to me was that the mother, Malaya, the very next day left the area. The very next day seems strange to me. That you wouldn't want to be there when your children were brought back to you safely. So where are they? I hope wherever they are, they're together, whether they've passed from this world, these poor little children. But maybe they haven't. Maybe they're safe somewhere. Maybe it's a family kidnapping of some kind. There was some relative of Malaya, wasn't there, that was saying that Malaya was behind it and it was a kidnapping and this, that and the other. Well, I think he's been more or less discredited, but I wish it was true what he was saying. I wish Malaya and Jack had been kidnapped by a family member and were safe somewhere. But only time will tell, and we just have to wait and see, don't we? And those, the mother and the stepfather, if they really have no idea what's happened to these children, they're going through a lot because they're getting a lot of media attention, bad media attention and social media attention thrown at them. And if they're innocent, that's very unfair, isn't it? And we don't know anything to the contrary so far, do we? So okay, so that was the first thing I wanted to talk to you about. Just give you that little update about Lily and Jack. Now I'm going to go and we're going to look at this case of baby Emmanuel Harrow over in America, in California. It's just crackers. You're talking about a babe. Let me give you a little resume of this case, just in case you don't know about it. So this little baby that you can see in the picture there, supposedly 7 months old, but it's not clear exactly how old he was. Anyway, on the other side there, you've got the father, the big piece of shit, Jake Harrow, and the mother, who probably is a POS as well. And she said, you can see the black eye on her. She said that she was attacked while she was changing that baby's nappy outside a sports store, I think it was, or some sort of store. She was just about to change his nappy. Someone came up behind her, said, "Hola," and that's the last she knows. She turned around, she was punched in the face. She went unconscious, and when she came round, the attacker had disappeared and the baby had disappeared. That was her story. So, and that black eye that she's got on that picture, let's have a closer look at it, was supposed to have happened. This was the very next day And we had a look, didn't we, at some black eyes, one that I had, one that one of my chatters had. You know, her black eye, and it's going all purpley as well. That was supposedly 10 o'clock the night before this picture was taken when she got that black eye, which is obviously a load of rubbish. Then it turns out that her lovely husband, oh my God, she must have thought she'd won the lottery when she met Jake Harrow. He already had a conviction for that he pled guilty to for child causing harm to a child when one of his other children, because he's got 6 children, this piece of shit, one of his other children was literally only a matter of weeks old, Vanessa, when he attacked her brutally and gave her such bad brain damage that she can't, she's blind, she can't walk, she can't swallow, she needs 24-hour care for the rest of her life. So remember this for later. He's been convicted of that. He got no prison time, practically. The authorities, in my opinion, are culpable for Emmanuel's death as well, because this man should never have been around children. But he was allowed back around children. And anyway, I can't even keep talking about that because it's just so ridiculous. So when they get this case sorted out, they want to charge the judge as well that allowed him out and allowed him to go home and see his family and things. So he's already got form for that. Now, another thing that's come out, I mean, there's loads. So, you know, get a cup of tea and settle down, or, you know, fasten your seatbelt. Because then it turns out, so not only has he done that to one of his other children when she was just, you know, in a couple of month-old baby, now Emmanuel's disappeared, who's supposedly 7 months old. And, you know, in my opinion, looking at the photos of Emmanuel, it looks like he's already had some sort of trauma to him. You know, he can't, it's like he can't lift his head up, his eyes don't look right. This man's probably battered him from the minute he was born. And this thicko woman, the mother, if she can't even call herself a mother, she's allowed it to happen. And not only that, the latest thing was she did an interview while she's from prison, said he's a good father. He's a good father. He would never do that to a baby. He's already done it. He's already done it to a baby. What's she talking about? Can it be that she doesn't know about that? Can't be, can it? Oh, he's a good father. He would never do that to a baby. He has already done it to one of his babies. Am I living in a parallel universe or something? Do you know, am I the thicko or what? You know, I feel I'm like, you know, what's going on here? But anyway, more than that, again, so, you know, just when you think it can't get any crazier. So Jake had a brother, and Jake's brother also died in that house. Now, I don't know how he died, but this is Hector Jacob Harrow on May the 6th, 2021. He died in that home. And I think it was JLR Investigates, let's have a look, who got up, I can't remember if it was him or Steve Fisher, one of the people that I follow on X, about all the times that the police had been called to the Harrow home. Loads. How many times have you had to call the police to your house? Possibly one, I don't know, possibly more than one, depends on circumstances. But you can see this when you have the records of the calls to the police. It's like a litany of calls. You know, who would have to call the police to the home that often? And one of the times the police had to be called was because this man died in the house. What happened to him? That's what I'd like to know. I'm just trying to see if I can find that where JLR put the list of things. No, put a list up of all the times the police had been called to the home, which probably won't be able to find now. I should have downloaded it and kept it. So why? Might be there, is it? So Jake Harrow had a brother named Hector who died inside his home in 2021, and Hector was on probation for fraud at the time of his death. How did he really die? I mean, I don't even know how he died. Oh, here it was. Yeah, it's Steve Fisher. Let's have a look at this. So Steve Fisher, this is the list of calls. I obtained all the calls for service Riverside County Sheriff's Department has been on at the address of Jake and Rebecca since 2020. This is only since 2020. But look at them, all these calls where the police have had to go out. And this one about the brother is this, death, which means unattended death. It means he wasn't in a doctor's care. But what happened to him? Did he have a heart attack? I just don't know. How many of you out there have had the police called to your home this many times? No? How many of you? None of you, I would imagine. So it's a very, there's a lot of mystery around this guy, a lot of death around him, isn't it? Starting to remind me a bit of the Daybell, Laurie Vallow, and one death in your family is a tragedy, as she calls them, family tragedies. Yeah, maybe one mysterious death, then another one, and then another one, and she's like got about 6 deaths, 6 bodies behind her, and she's still saying they were accidents or family tragedies, blaming it on everybody else except her. Is this how it's going to end up with this one? How many deaths follow him or accidents? He's got his little girl, the other little girl who's now being looked after by a family member. Thank God somebody's looking after her. She'll need care for the rest of her life because of what Jake Harrow, the big brick shithouse, did to her. The great big man who likes killing babies. Now we've got this brother that we don't know what happened to him, but he died in the same home. And now we've got Emmanuel. So that's 3, not 3 deaths maybe. Well, 2 deaths and 1 near death. What's going on? What else is going to come out? Honest to God, I got a bad feeling about this. How many people and children, and how many has he killed? Yeah, exactly, David. They've got their own mug. They've got their own mug at the Harrow house, the police, because they go there that often. They've probably got their own chair. So that's another thing that came out. So don't think that's it, because that's not it. So then Jake, of course. Oh, no, God, I don't even know where to go sometimes in this case. So now we're just going to turn to Thicko a minute, Rebecca. This is the mother. Now I've been trying to give her the benefit of the doubt and think, I do think she's probably an abused woman. But I thought, once she gets out into police custody, she gets away from Jake, she'll start telling the truth. Yeah? Oh, no. She's still saying that the baby was kidnapped. And she said about Jake, he's a good dad. He would never hurt a baby. He would never hurt a baby, but he already has. That's like saying about Ted Bundy or some other serial killer. Oh, he would never kill anyone. He has. He has. What's wrong with this woman? So she's in a place now where she's safe from Jake. She's in prison. Does she feel he can still reach out to her in prison? I mean, I don't know. He may have gang connections and things. Who knows? I mean, this guy is a piece of shit at the end of the day. But this is her opportunity to tell the truth. So let's just have a look at this video.
New developments tonight in the search for a missing baby in the Inland Empire. We now know his mother, who is currently in jail on suspicion of murder, maintains her child was kidnapped. Fox 11's Nick Garcia is live in downtown Riverside with what could be next in this investigation.
So just because of that footage that you saw there, so at the same time she's saying, oh yes, he was definitely kidnapped. And Big Jake is a good dad. He would never hurt a baby, even though he's already hurt a baby. At the same time all that's going on, Big Jake's out there trying to show, well, don't know if he's trying to show the police where the body is, because we haven't had any details from the police, but they're out searching and he's there. So is he there to help them find the body? Or have they made him go out there because they've got suspicions where the body might be? We don't know. But anyway, no body was found. This baby hasn't been found yet. I do feel that he will be found. But again, when? I don't know. So at the same time, Thicko Rebecca is in prison saying he's a good dad and he wouldn't hurt a baby, and I still think my child was kidnapped. He's helping the police search for a body. So work that one out. Now, I suppose another possibility is maybe it was Jake who punched her in the face and kidnapped the baby, or one of his friends. Do you think that might be a possibility? Do you know what? You could not make this shit up, could you? You could not put this in a film and people would believe that it was real. That poor baby.
Nick?
All right, Susan, good evening. Well, Rebecca Haro is behind bars in that jail here in Riverside right now. The Riverside District Attorney's Office says a decision on filing has not been made yet, but we know that Rebecca and Jake Haro both face that count of murder. If those charges are filed, they could appear in court here tomorrow. It's a case that has captured national attention, the disappearance of infant Emmanuel Haro. Last week, his parents, Jake and Rebecca Haro, were arrested for murder.
Whenever I see that
Rebecca
guy
is speaking out from jail. She spoke with the Southern California News Group, insisting her baby was kidnapped, saying, quote, and Rebecca Haro were arrested
look at
for
the
murder.
state of him.
Rebecca Haro were
Hang on, sorry, I've just got to show this
murder.
again.
Now her parents, Jake and
look
Rebecca.
At him. You know, great big guy. Well, both of them, you know, no, she's not a tiny little thing either, is she? And that tiny little baby was at the mercy of these two horrors.
Haro were arrested. The disappearance of infant Emmanuel Haro.
There, look at the size of him. And, you know, he's only 31 or something. He can't even walk properly. He's just a lazy piece of shit. Who just, you know, probably the baby was interrupting his sleep because he's not, you know, he's got no work to do or anything, has he? But he was probably trying to have a nap because he was tired. And maybe the baby was crying and he got angry. Honestly, I hate this man so much.
Last week, his parents, Jake and Rebecca Haro, were arrested for murder. Now Rebecca is speaking out from jail. She spoke with the Southern California News Group, insisting her baby was kidnapped, saying, quote, I want to be out looking for my baby. She also spoke about her husband, saying, quote, he's a good dad. He would never hurt a baby. That jailhouse.
Just honestly, every time I hear it, I'm like, what? He has hurt a baby. He has. The other thing I just want to say, I don't know if she gets paid for those sort of interviews. I hope she bloody doesn't get paid. They've put it behind a paywall. I tried to find the actual interview itself. And I've noticed even on other news things, they're not showing the interview. I don't know if it was a phone interview or a face-to-face interview. But what gets off with these, like Laurie Vallow and others? How dare they be able to do interviews and get paid for them? You know, there's a baby disappeared, probably dead. She's charged for murder, and she's doing an interview that she's probably been paid for because they've put it behind a paywall. She wasn't doing just an open interview to anyone. She's getting paid for it, no doubt. Shouldn't be allowed.
This interview happened Sunday, the same day Jake Haro, seen here in an orange jumpsuit, was brought by San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies to help look for Emmanuel's body near the 60 freeway in Moreno Valley. The body was not found, but detectives...
I mean, yeah, he's gone out there. And you're right, David. It is reminiscent, isn't it, of Ian Brady, like out on the moors. I don't know if he was wasting police time or he genuinely couldn't remember after all the years. I mean, there'd been a lot of years had gone past with Ian Brady. But, yeah, they're just like enjoying the control over the police, enjoying being out of the prison for a day. Or is it like, it's, you know, it makes you think, did he just go off and, you know, throw that boy somewhere and now, you know, he wouldn't, it all looks the same, doesn't it? So how would you remember exactly where you'd thrown him? Tiny little baby. And then somebody else was saying is it a possibility that somebody else took the baby to dispose of, and that's why Jake doesn't know exactly, because he's just maybe been told, oh, it's in that area or whatever. I mean, who knows? Now, for the police to go out there with him, and again, you're right, David, it's like once he says they wouldn't be out there with him unless they were, you know, it's almost like a confession, isn't it? If he's taking them out there to look for a body, you know, that's a confession to murder, isn't it? I suppose another possibility is maybe when they did his phone data, they saw that he'd been in that area, and maybe he said to them, he threw something else out there. Let's just say, for example, I don't know, can't think of anything, you know, disposed of some other sort of, like a fridge or a tire or something, and he couldn't remember exactly where. So has he gone out there with them saying, no, it wasn't a body I was disposing of, and taking them out there to find whatever it is he's saying that he disposed of? Just a possibility, because we don't know. The police don't have to tell us, do they? They'll tell us in their good time.
Do believe the baby is dead. Sunday night, a growing memorial outside the Haro home in Cabazon.
Beautiful that baby Emmanuel gets the support. It's very unfortunate that you know, he wasn't able to get it while he was still here.
Concerned community members have gathered several times since baby Emmanuel.
Well, those people that care about Emmanuel and his own parents didn't give a shit. And to be honest, the authorities didn't give a shit, because the authorities, the judge that put that father back with his children, even when he's been talked to about this case, he had a 2-year-old child in his arms. Makes me feel sick.
Emmanuel's disappearance, hoping he will be found. As of Monday afternoon, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department has not located the boy's body. Certainly the question on everyone's mind, where is baby Emmanuel? Again, if those charges are filed, we're keeping a close eye on it. If they're filed, they do expect to see them appear in court here in Riverside tomorrow. In the meantime, though, both Jake and Rebecca Haro are being held without bail. Live in downtown Riverside, I'm Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
Oh, so very sad, isn't it? So very sad. This poor baby just needs to be found. Now, I'm just going to show you this from Steve Fisher. He went out with his drone and filmed the area. You know, and you can see it's quite remote, isn't it? Ooh. So he took some drone for this is the area. Now, you know, what, did he just toss him there? Or, I mean, what? You would think it would be easy to see with a drone if there was anything strange. Now, Steve is an expert in finding missing people. He's a private investigator, but he's found many missing people, and he's very, I love following him on X. He gives some really important insights, and in this particular case, he's actually gone there. Now, another interesting thing he said in one of his tweets that I think is worth listening to is that one thing I'll note from spending the day in the Badlands area of Moreno Valley is that the dirt is as hard as cement. You would need professional tools to dig a makeshift grave. If any remains are there, I think the probability is that they're above ground. So just an observation by him. I'm going to read something else out in a minute that's a bit worrying. Now, he's given a lot, follow him on X. He gives a lot of information, according to his opinion. And this is interesting because what he's done with gone there with his drone, and then he's highlighted some parts that he would like to see a cadaver dog inspect. Newly disturbed ground, I suppose. Yeah. So the thing is, if Emmanuel has been missing for months, then they have had months to dig a hole, I suppose. But he was saying how hard the ground is. But yeah, you can see these are disturbed earth, one way or another. Now, a few people have said, like this person is saying, about because, of course, the other weird thing that happened, wasn't it, was when the other property was set on fire by all these vagrants, according, supposedly. And, some people think maybe Jake had paid those vagrants to set fire to that house because the baby was there. But so this person says, did you watch the YouTube footage last night of some vagrants that ran into the neighbour's yard across the street and the abandoned RV and ran away? That was all caught on film. That's the other thing. You think that's a bit stupid, isn't it, if it's all caught on film? But the house in front of the RV also burned down. I bet the baby was under the RV or in it. And this is something, it's feasible. But he says, I was actually there where it happened. There were multiple arson investigators that sifted through everything after the fire was put out. So they would have found something. Even with little April Jones, do you remember that, when I think it's thought that her killer, he burnt her in the fireplace? They did find remnants. I think they will always find something. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe something will come out. I don't know. Yeah, you never can totally cremate them, David, though. As I say, even with April Jones, they found splinters, didn't they, or teeth. You'd be surprised what can survive a fire, because the baby would have had some milk teeth at least. I don't know, though. I don't know. The time will tell when the investigation continues. Yeah. He's dead. He's definitely not far away, that baby. And I think when they went far away, if you like, when they said that Emmanuel was kidnapped, that was a little distance away. That's to create distance from the scene. But I think Emmanuel is around there somewhere, and he may have been in that house or so. It just seems all a bit obvious to me. I don't know. But anyway, possibly. But I do think they would have found something. You can't dispose, with April Jones, they found something. They won't find the whole thing, the whole body, but they'll find something. And they're trained in doing that, aren't they? Finding things, especially. Yeah, but April Jones was a small child as well, David. They still, something survives. Not, they're experts in doing that, of course. That's what they do for a living, sifting through. But you could be right, but I don't believe it, personally. Hi, Heather. I think he is there somewhere roundabout. I don't know why they went out to that area. Maybe he is just trying to distract them. Maybe he's thinking nobody, no crime. If they can't find Emmanuel, they won't be able to hold me for murder. They don't know that he hasn't been kidnapped. I think there'll be lots, obviously, that we don't know as well, that the police will know, isn't there? So that's what happens in every case, isn't it? Sometimes it's not until it comes to the trial that you find out all these things. So my trust is always with the police investigators, even though sometimes right in the beginning of cases they can cock up a bit. I think as time goes on, then once they fasten in and start, it takes time. Nothing gets solved quickly, does it? Especially when it's forensic tests and things like that. It takes time, and people want answers quickly. Now, the other mad thing that's come up is, in fact, I think Steve was mentioning that, but I think I turned this in. Anyway, I'm going to just mention it. I'm hoping it won't happen. But now there's some sort of talk about the San Bernardino police shouldn't have got involved because this is a cross-border case, because the kidnapping happened in one state, is it? And where they think the murder happened is in another or something. So, there's all that going on as well at the moment. So I think we'll just watch one more video about this and then we'll move on. How are you, Heather? Hope you're well. Let's watch this.
Authorities are still searching for a missing 7-month-old baby who is presumed dead. The child's mother and father were arrested on Friday. They're accused of faking the boy's kidnapping. KTLA's Jacqueline Sarkeesian live in San Bernardino now with the latest. Jacqueline, good morning.
Hey, Jess, good morning to you as well. A heartbreaking turn of events here involving this story, but the father was seen yesterday helping detectives with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department locating the body of Emmanuel, his 7-month-old baby. The parents were arrested early Friday morning after nearly 2 weeks of the baby allegedly being kidnapped. We're going to show you some video coming into our newsroom with the father helping detectives. Yesterday, we have video of him on the ground, and you can see cameras capturing Jake Harrow, the infant's father, dressed in a brightly colored jail jumpsuit, assisting in the search for the remains of his missing baby. He was joined by San Bernardino County detectives Sunday in a remote stretch of the 60 freeway near Gilman Springs Road in Moreno Valley. Cadaver dogs were there as well. The Sheriff's Department ended the search last night and said Emmanuel was...
The more I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking, had they been tracking his phone data and saw that he went to that area, so they've taken him, then he's probably like, I just stopped for a wee, or I just whatever, I don't know. That's a possibility, isn't it? That they've made him go there with them because maybe they feel that baby Emmanuel is there somewhere, but he may not have said anything to them.
Not found, and the investigation to find him continues. Jake and Rebecca Harrow, the parents, were arrested Friday morning at their home in Camazon. You're looking at newly released booking photos of the couple. They're being held without bail. Over the weekend, there was a vigil for the baby. So many people heartbroken and...
Now, he, in these mugshots, look, he just looks evil, doesn't he? What do women see in him? What do women, and honestly, these women, they need a lobotomy or something. If they're looking at that and finding that attractive, he's got cold eyes, he's sneering, he can't say he's got a nice personality, can you? He's like strangled a baby before. He's got felony charges, he's got gun charges. She really must have thought she'd won the lottery when she met this guy. What do women see in men like that? Honestly, I literally do not. Does he give her is he giving her drugs or something? You know what I mean? Makes you wonder. I used to, you know, is it like some sort of love potion or whatever? Because what could you see in him? He has nothing. He's not a nice person. He's not good looking. He hasn't got a good body. He hasn't got anything going for him. Nothing visible anyway. And then I look at her and I think, her eyes actually look about the same then. You start, you know, as I say, all my sympathy that I might have had for her in the beginning for thinking she was a battered woman, it's gone, going. And actually, when I look at that picture, is it my imagination, or does she look like she's almost smirking? She's got this dupe and delight there. Maybe she's just as bad as him. You know, nasty bitch at the end of the day, probably. Really, you'd have to be a pretty nasty bitch to end up with a nasty piece of work like him. And is she smirking because she's thinking she's going to be famous now and get all this money for interviews and what have you? You know, this is the way some people's minds work. And that's what we have to remember. Some people don't have children because the joy of having children. They have children because it's another you can claim more money from the welfare state or whatever, or just try and keep a piece of shit like this. Oh my God, he's the sort of man you'd be bloody delighted when he met someone else, wouldn't you? You'd be like, oh, you leave him there, oh, shame. And then you'd be cracking open the carver after he'd walked out the door. Oh my God, finally got rid of him. Not her though, no. He's a good dad. He would never hurt a baby, even though he already has. Idiot.
Shocked with the turn of events.
I'm hurt by it, you know, because I wanted to believe that baby is alive. Crazy, sad, sick. I could do that to a child.
Oh.
The case started nearly 2 weeks ago when Rebecca told deputies she had been attacked in the parking lot of a Big Five sporting goods store in Yucaipa while changing her son's diaper. She claimed to have lost consciousness during the assault, and when she came to, Emmanuel was gone. But detectives say there were major inconsistencies with that story. Rebecca later stopped cooperating with investigators, and they now believe the reported kidnapping never happened. Search warrants were served at the couple's home, and detectives say the evidence points to a far more tragic.
Do you know that just in that moment, then watching them both together like that, do you know who they reminded me of? Do you remember? Let's see, I'm going to put them together. They reminded me of the Philpotts. Remember Mick Philpott and Myreed, who she's free now, isn't she? Murdered their children. 7, was it? 7 children. How many? God, I've lost count of how many children it was. And like she's looking at him for approval, and he's pretending to be upset. And you can imagine probably when they got back into the house. Remember when Mick was saying to Mary, "Did you cry? Did you cry?" That's what he'd be saying now. Did you cry? Yeah, you did a good job. You cried. Like talking about after what performance they put on.
Emmanuel was gone, but detectives say there were major inconsistencies with that story. Rebecca later stopped cooperating with investigators, and they now believe the reported kidnapping never happened. Search warrants were served at the couple's home, and detectives say the evidence points to a far more tragic ending. They now believe Emmanuel is dead and are still looking for his body. We've learned that Jake Harrow, the father, has a criminal history, including a 2018 conviction for child cruelty. He was also just arrested last month for illegal gun possession while still on probation. And authorities during this investigation, social services removed another child of theirs from their home, a 2-year-old child. We have learned, according to detectives, that the couple is expected to make their first court appearance tomorrow morning at the Riverside Hall of Justice. Reporting live from San Bernardino, Jacqueline Sarkeesian, KTLA 5 News.
So I'm presuming that'll be this morning or this afternoon in Spanish time when they'll be making their court appearance. I don't know. Yeah. Awful. And, I was thinking about it. It's like nobody cares about these children, because do you know what? The judge didn't care about the children. That little baby that he strangled and left disabled for the rest of her life, his own daughter, the judge didn't care, because he never even got a proper prison sentence. So nobody cares about these children. We care when we're watching these things and we get outraged. But, we're not in the position of power that we can do anything. We're not the parents, and we're not the judge or the social services. They're the ones that have it in their power to help children. They don't give a shit, do they really? Well, that judge didn't care about Vanessa or Jake Harrow's future children. No, it's just nobody cares except us, and like that community there, they cared, but they're not the people that are in a position to care for these children. Just terrible. Right, so going to stop talking about that and get outraged about another. Let's get outraged about another case similar. I think these cases are so similar because although this is just the father, let me put some windows down so I can concentrate. Yes, now we're going to talk about Travis Decker, another deadbeat dad. I mean, talk about deadbeat dads. God, do you think it's bad enough when they don't pay their child support? But some deadbeat dads go even further, don't they? Murder their daughters. So this, of course, is what Travis Decker did. We better have a look at him. He's being looked for. He's dead, I think, 100% certain he's dead. I've thought it right from the beginning. I think they're going to find him local to where those children's bodies were found. So he took his children off for a few hours custody. He had a few hours custody. He said to the mother, Whitney, right, I'll have them back by 8 o'clock or whenever it was. He never came back. When the police searched for these 3 beautiful girls, Peyton, Olivia and Evelyn, they found them deceased, hands tied behind their backs, plastic bags over their faces, smothered, and Travis nowhere to be seen. But his dog was there. His dog was still alive. I think 100% Travis is in that area, because I think if he'd gone anywhere else, the dog would have gone with him. And I don't think he would go far from where those children were. So that brings me to so this is in, where is it? All these places, can't remember all the places. It's Washington area, wasn't it? So they found the children at, so let me just read to you the background of what happened. And then there's been a police conference, we're going to watch that. But we'll just look at the timeline. So apparently he was an active dad. He was called an active dad, apparently. What does that mean, active dad? Yeah, he was so active, he killed them. So he picked up his 3 young daughters on May the 30th, Washington, in the United States for a planned visitation, and never came back. And they were found dead near a Washington state campground on June the 2nd. Now, the police press conference is going to tell you that they've gone back. I mean, they've searched. They've done a lot of searching. There's been reported sightings. This is a couple of months have passed by, but they've gone back to where they started, if you like, where the girls' bodies were found, and they're searching again. I think they're going to find him. I certainly hope so. So, he disappeared, sparking a multi-agency manhunt, and it's been over 2 months since the girls' bodies were found with no sign of him. How could he do it? Look at those little faces. How could he look those little girls in the face? Put a plastic bag over the face, tie the hands behind the back. Somebody tell me, because I don't understand. So their mother Whitney described the girls as having warm and open hearts. They wouldn't have suspected anything from their daddy, would they? So he was 32, picked up the girls at their home in Wenatchee Valley, talked to his ex-wife for about 15 to 20 minutes. What about? What did you talk to her about for 15 to 20 minutes? And then he left. And of course, he tried to get back with Whitney, wanted to get back with her, but she didn't want to. He said, hey, I'll see you at 8 p.m. And he left and he never came back. And then they were reported missing. Well, she contacted the police. Whitney had been trying, again, the courts, they don't care, do they? Because the courts care more about this father's rights. The fact that the mother was contacting them saying, look, he's got mental health problems. I don't like it. The girl's going off with him. The courts didn't listen. So this mother did all she could to stop them being in his environment, and she couldn't. So she attempted to call her ex-husband. His cell phone was going straight to voicemail, and she began to express concern because he had never done that before, and he is currently experiencing some mental health issues. And then they did not arrive at a planned 5K running event on May the 31st. And that is when the police started looking. Did not meet Amber Alert criteria, but I don't think that would have made any difference. They were already dead by then anyway. But they did issue an endangered missing person alert through the Washington State Patrol. And at approximately 3 p.m. on June the 2nd, they located his vehicle unoccupied, and they found the bodies of the 3 girls, but Decker was not located. Anyway, as I say, much searching has been done. There's been possible sightings that weren't sightings, just a waste of police time, really. That man is in that area deceased somewhere. I'm 100% certain of it. And I hope they find him because they're looking for him in that area. So let's have a look at the police conference. I think that's it.
Everyone, my name is Peter Orth. I'm the supervisory senior resident agent for the FBI offices in Yakima and Tri-Cities. Thank you for joining us. The media is very important and plays a very important role in the ability of law enforcement to push information out to our communities. So thank you for helping us spread the word. At this time, the FBI is conducting a grid search operation today and tomorrow near the Rock Island campground. But I want to be clear that currently we have no evidence that Travis Decker is alive or dead. But we are conducting a grid search operation over the next 2 days. It's currently taking place right now. We hope to find evidence that will lead us to Travis Decker or any information regarding the murder of his 3 daughters. By thoroughly searching and documenting the area, we can help prevent the need to review the area in the future by collecting all possible evidence. Today, there are nearly 100 FBI and partner agencies personnel on the ground to participate in this search operation. We have specialty teams from the federal government and local partner agencies all deployed here today and tomorrow for this operation. For almost 3 months, the investigators, led by the Chelan County Sheriff's Office and the FBI, have carefully followed hundreds of tips regarding the search for Travis Decker in this investigation. It's taken us over rough terrain, difficult areas, multiple.
Yeah, so as I was saying before about the other case, you can never underestimate how difficult it is to find a body. In Emmanuel's case particularly, because it's a baby's body, but even a grown man's body, especially if they've taken themselves to a place they don't want to be found. Even people who are in, who haven't tried to cover up where their body is, their own body. Particularly remember when we covered the case of Dr. Mosley in Greece. Was it Greece? Who disappeared on holiday, the sort of TV doctor. And his body was lying in full view for days before it was spotted from a boat. You know, he just sat down and died due to the heat and everything. But he wasn't trying to hide, you know, where he was or anything like that. And it still took days anyway to find. And he was right open, you know. So it's hard to find a body. And particularly if I don't see, I'm always struck by the fact they said there was blood on the car, on the truck, didn't they? And it makes you wonder, did he do something to himself? Did he slit his wrist? Did he, and then just wander off into the bushes or whatever? I mean, you'd think that the dogs would find that, but, you know, I just don't think. So what they're doing is they're going through, like he'll say to us, it's like old-fashioned way of looking for someone, you know, with just like beating through the bush. So
multiple states, remote locations that are inaccessible. The residents and visitors of Chelan County know very well that these areas are covered with vast dirt roads that stretch for miles, no cell phone service, and many other challenges. That effort gets more difficult as time goes on. The elements carry away, erode the very items that we're looking to seek and capture for the investigation. Our search teams today are out in county and Washington state that this case is a priority for the FBI. That is why we're here today. This is a beautiful area in which a heinous crime occurred. We are here to seek justice for Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. We're here to find answers for their family, friends, and the community. And we are here to hopefully provide some measure of closure to their loved ones in this senseless tragedy. We want to thank all the hikers, campers, and the community for their patience as we had to close down a very popular area for recreation. I would ask people that were inconvenienced by this to consider themselves indirect contributors to the search operation. To the community, if you find any information that you think is helpful to this investigation, we're directing you to the U.S. Marshals tip line. Please report any information you feel is appropriate for the investigators to the U.S. Marshals. And Sheriff Morrison has some comments.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here again. I just want to publicly recognize Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia again. We have not forgotten about them. We still send our thoughts and prayers up to them. We're thinking of their family during this time. But more importantly, I just want to say thanks to the Seattle office of the FBI and all the partnering offices that have also come out to support this current operation. We've made it very clear over the last 3 months that we have not given up. We've continued to track down leads. Our investigative unit continues to follow up on evidence that's coming back from the Washington State Patrol. We thank Chief Batiste and his agency for, again, being a valuable partner. You see them out there again today. I'd also like to thank the U.S. Marshals Service for also being out with us during our search. I'd also like to thank the Yakima County Sheriff's Office, the Yakima Police Department, the Spokane County Sheriff's Office, and our agency for being out there, along with the U.S. Forest Service, the U.S. Army's Criminal Investigation Division, and Central Washington University's Anthropology Department. Again, we recognize Chelan County Sheriff's Office as a medium-sized agency. We couldn't do this investigation on our own without our partners coming alongside of us, providing us the resources we need in order to give the kind of investigation that these 3 young girls deserve, their family deserves, and more likely that our community also deserves. We want to bring closure. We want to bring answers. We understand the frustration. We're feeling it as well. It's been 3 months. We would love to have Travis Decker in custody, standing in front of a judge. We recognize that at times these kind of investigations take time. It's going to take perseverance. And as we saw with our partners in Okanagan County Sheriff's Office, after 3 years, they were able to track down their homicide suspect, unfortunately deceased in a homeless camp in Spokane. We recognize that those are the kind of outcomes that do come over time. So it's going to take patience, understanding from our community. Again, we appreciate Whitney, her family, the girls' families and friends for being patient and understanding with the Sheriff's Office, for being understanding that our partners are doing anything and everything possible to do a thorough investigation, following up on all leads, and not limiting any kind of resources that are available. I appreciate the funding that's come in to allow this kind of operation to take place today. You've seen this over the last several months with our partnering and neighboring agencies, not only nationally within the state, but also internationally that have followed up on leads on our behalf. Again, the Sheriff's Office and the citizens of Chelan County are appreciative. We'll continue to be appreciative. But again, we will not relent. We will not give up until this investigation is concluded and that Travis is accounted for and or taken into custody. Again, I appreciate your time. Thank you for being here, showing support for us. We'll take any questions you may have.
Sheriff Michelle Sullivan from Come News. Could you be specific about why this is such a targeted location? It seems to be site-specific. What has led investigators here?
Absolutely. So this is the primary area where the initial crime took place. We've had our agents, our investigators, along with the U.S. Marshals Service and our volunteer search and rescue team that did a thorough grid search around the initial campsite. We had our investigators embedded in with that process. The FBI is now following up behind to expand that out. Based off the information that we've received back from behavioral analysis on a possible outcome of how this may have gone or where Travis may have gone, we wanted to expand our efforts out. And further, we wanted to support and provide a solid foundation for our investigation and what areas we have searched for future investigators when they come on scene.
Now, the problem with, it's great when the public all sort of give tips and this, that and the other, but unfortunately, all the tips the public have given so far about sightings of Travis have been incorrect. And in my opinion, they've just wasted time. Travis is probably deceased in that area. That's been my opinion from the beginning. And the thing is, that's what the FBI think, because they know from experience. Now, it's not always the case. So he could have run off. He could be living wild somewhere. He could be in a bunker somewhere. So I think this is right, what they're doing, to go back to ground zero, if you like, where those, I don't think for a minute Travis will be far away from where those girls are. It's just a question of finding him. So easy to miss a body, even with cadaver dogs and things. Is he in the water? They'll say shortly, that the water has been extensively searched. But we know from other cases, sometimes the water is extensively searched and then, poof, a week later or whatever, a month later or even longer, people just pop up, don't they? This is just so difficult. I never realised just how difficult it is to find a body. Now, think about the case of Caleb Harris. Any of you that know about the case of him, he disappeared. And then ages later, I think it was over a year later, he was found in like a sewer type, as if he's fallen down a manhole, if you believe that it wasn't foul play. I'm still not sure about Caleb Harris, but anyway, this no foul play, manhole cover left off, and they think he fell down that, ended up in this sewer place, water treatment plant or whatever. People turn up a long time afterwards sometimes. So, but, and even if he went into the water at that spot nearby where the girls were, he could have been taken off to a completely other spot. But in my opinion, they're doing the right thing. Go back to Deborah, you don't have to go into initials on the, it's like you're shouting at us all, so we won't have that. Listen, we don't know. First of all, we're not talking about that now. We've talked about that case. Also, I just want to say, we don't know what's going to happen yet, so we'll wait and see. And please, other chatters, when you're reading what people put in the chat, remember this is just what they're putting in the chat. They don't know. It might be talked about on the news chat. They don't know. Nobody knows. And we do not put comments in capitals like we're shouting at people, because if we carry on doing that, then we're just going to get banned. So just remember, we on this channel, I mean, I'm sure there's loads of other channels that will be clickbaiting all that, oh, they're going to be released and that. Maybe they will be released. We don't clickbait on this channel. We talk about how things are at the moment. We'll see what happens when they go to court. So we don't, fall for clickbait.
If we haven't settled this or found Travis in the next couple of years, but it's going to take us some time, and we're going to continue to do a thorough search and continue to expand out around the initial crime scene to ensure we didn't miss anything. I believe we did a thorough search initially, but again, when we come back with new technology, more resources, more personnel, that allows us to better document what we have covered for future investigations.
And Sheriff Morrison, Brady Wakayama with King 5 News. How did you folks decide on the time, on how long you plan on being out here? Just 2 days rather than a week, or, less time or more time? Why is it only just 2 days, I guess?
Yeah, that's funny. The 2 days isn't very long, but he says it, he's very honest. It's resources as well that matter. I mean, they're desperate to find Travis. They want to wrap up this case. Because at the end of the day, for us, every day that they haven't found Travis, I feel like the public are in danger. Whitney, the mother of these lovely children, she's definitely in danger. She must be sleeping with one eye open. I'd be terrified that it was going to come and kill me as well. Having said that, you might think, God, what have you got to live for now that your 3 children have been taken off you? But do you know what I'm saying? They want to tie this up. They're desperate to find him. So it's surprising that it's only 2 days, really.
Yes.
Based off the resources we had, and again, I'll let the FBI follow up further as they're the ones leading this investigation and the follow-up operation. It seemed appropriate with the amount of ground we were trying to cover. And again, we're mapping it out. If we need to expand further, I understand that they can take more time to expand out. But again, we've agreed on those 2 days. We'll reassess once that time frame comes to an end.
And how much ground are we trying to cover over the next 2 days?
As I understand it, we're going about a quarter-mile radius around the campsite. If we need to expand out further, we will. Based off investigations and follow-up we've done with the U.S. Marshal's Office, looking into similar cases, we found that historically and typically, you found the homicide suspect and those responsible within a quarter mile of the scene, either alive and or deceased.
Is there any new evidence that you've uncovered that you can share with us that led you to this location?
No, again, it's just due diligence, making sure that we're checking our boxes and doing everything we can to best map it out in the future in case there comes a time where I'm not in office or our investigators aren't in office. It's well documented. There's a well-established history.
Well, I don't know about you, but it seems to me they've had a big conflab and they've not got anywhere going further afield, so they've decided to go back to where the girls were found, in conjunction with the FBI. So he's saying that it's not because they've had any tip-off or anything, just literally taking stock of the whole situation, go back to where they started from and try again. I think it's a good idea, personally.
Anyone can pick up where we left off. We saw this with the Green River Killer case. This started in the early 80s, expanded out in the early 2000s. I can tell you that a lot of the investigators that were assigned to that case had long since retired. Once he was taken into custody, again, we want to lay that kind of foundation in case our investigation goes that long. But we remain committed. We're going to make sure that we do a thorough job.
Sheriff, are you still think that your resources as well, or is this all footage today?
This is all ground, but we do have air resources if we need to call them back in. And we appreciate the FBI for taking point on that. We also appreciate Spokane Police Department that brought their drone unit before. We've had our drone unit out, along with Spokane County, Snohomish County, King County, our air units, the Washington State Patrol's fixed wing. So we know if we have to call upon them, they will be available. But this time we understand that getting boots on the ground and into the thicker brush is probably our best point leading forward.
Sheriff, is there kind of a rush to get outdoors to try to get things settled? I know that you're closing for the next 2 days, but Memorial or the next holiday is right around the corner. Do you guys foresee maybe taking the rest of the week, expanding into other areas, or is this just going to happen over the next few days and then we're just going to wrap up before the holiday?
We've never been rushed. So this is an investigation looking at the homicide of 3 young girls. If it requires us to expand our time out on the ground further, we'll do so. We're going to start off with 2 days. We understand that they're limited resources. These are taxpayer dollars that we're utilizing. We're not going to be wasteful with them, but we're going to make sure to be thorough. If we need to go out to the end of the week, we will. The holiday weekend is not going to obstruct our investigation or slow us down. We understand that it may be an inconvenience for those who want to come here and recreate. We are a tourist destination. We recognize that. We're also 2,900 plus square miles. There's other places to camp. We appreciate the community support, those visitors' support, and we understand this does present an inconvenience, but there are a lot of other areas we still can recreate, camp here within our county. We welcome you. For the time being, that area is closed for operations, and if we need to expand out, we will, but we've never been in a hurry. We're going to be thorough. We're going to be detailed because justice remains on it. So it depends on us. We want to make sure that we're doing everything possible to present a strong case when we get to court.
And Sheriff, you may have mentioned this before, but what additional resources are in this search versus previous ones? What's the difference?
Allow the FBI to expand out more on what they've brought to the table, but I can tell you just the resources available from the units that are coming in. I've cited the U.S. Marshal Service, the FBI. This is the first time that I've seen the U.S. Army's Criminal Investigation Division on the ground too. We've had electronic sniffing dogs. We've had specialists in different fields. So we're just expanding out with what we have available through the criminal justice system, and that's not available to the sheriff's office. And again, we couldn't do this without the FBI's support, and we're grateful for that.
You might be repeating yourself, but would you mind just sort of emphasizing what role the FBI will play and how they're going to take the lead in the search and why.
So I think they're clear on that. They're not saying that he's alive or that he's dead. They don't have any evidence either way. They don't have any evidence that he's still alive. They don't have any evidence that he's deceased. Let me know what you think. Do you think this man is deceased, or do you think he is hiding somewhere?
They are the leads in this search. They're the ones that put forth the personnel, the funding, the coordination, the logistics. Again, we thank them. We appreciate them coming all the way over here and doing this. We understand what kind of a time consumption this is, what a resource consumption this is. Again, we could not do this without our federal partners. We're thankful for our federal partners, FBI, U.S. Marshals, Homeland Security investigation. We've had Border Patrol out here assisting us as well. Just thankful for our federal partners, our local partners, our state partners, and we'll continue to work with them as best we can.
Can you talk a little bit about, I mean, the slightly emotional side? You know, it has been almost 3 months to the day at this point. We're still looking. This is still something that people think about every day in some households. Can you talk a little bit about maybe if it's a little bit defeating to still be doing this today?
It's not defeating for us. We don't give up. We understand that the girls would not want us to give up, but I did talk with Whitney last night over the phone. I get her frustration. Of course, she wants the kind of closure where we can locate Travis and bring him to justice. And we also understand that our community is frustrated. We hear the comments back from the community as well saying, why haven't you guys found him yet? And of course, bringing up suggestions, we hear you. We're trying our best. We're doing what we can with the resources we have. We don't get frustrated, though. We're not going to give up. We understand this could take years, and we'll be here. If it's not me wearing this uniform, it'll be another Sullivan County Sheriff's deputy. It'll be another.
Yeah, it's quite worrying the way he's quite often he's talked about it could take years. It might not be me here standing talking to you wearing this uniform. It might be someone else. He's compared it to how long it took to catch the Green River killer. It's a bit worrying actually, because it doesn't seem very optimistic that they're going to find him in 2 days for this. Well, only 1 day left now of this search. But, that's it. These searches can take years, can't they? But the way he's talking, it may not be me here in this uniform. I mean, that's a long time he's talking then, isn't he? It's just makes you wonder if they actually, they must have sat down and actually considered this possibility. That it might take years. It's quite scary, isn't it, Deborah? Really, it is quite scary that. Years, goodness me, but it could, I suppose.
FBI agent. There'll be another U.S. Marshal. This is not going to go away till Travis is located. And again, we're going to continue to persevere, grind on, and we will find him in one fashion or the other.
Can you speak a little bit further?
Current award that the U.S. Marshal Service is offering is $20,000. I know I've heard calls from the public. Why don't you raise that amount? Again, we don't control that. We appreciate the U.S. Marshals.
This is another funny thing he says, because it says $20,000 reward, $20,000 reward. He says, people are saying there should be more. There should be. I know they keep saying they don't think he's deceased, but I think they do think he's deceased, because otherwise, why are they not more worried? You're talking about a triple murderer, a man who's murdered his own 3 children, wandering around. Dangerous, and he doesn't, $20,000 doesn't seem like a big amount, does it? And then you hear what he says in a minute. Starts talking about private rewards that could be put up, but then fraud is a big thing. Anyway, it's all very odd. I think maybe they do think he's deceased, and maybe that's why the reward is not going up, because surely the reward, he's got to be one of the FBI's most wanted men at the moment. He's killed 3 children, is supposedly armed and dangerous.
For putting in the work that they have, having Travis be in the spotlight that he is in, and also the funds that have been made available to turn him in. I don't think there's anything saying that members of the public couldn't come up with their own funds to offer up. But again, I would tread lightly in there because fraud is a real thing.
Yeah, there's nothing to stop members of the public, but I would tread lightly there because fraud is a real thing. What's he talking about?
Again, we're pursuing forward with justice. We hope that individuals do take the award as a serious offer, and we'll continue to work with the Marshal Service. If we're able to get additional funding, we're grateful for that as well.
Can you speak a little bit to, I know we've talked about the terrain extensively, his military training, but what is the likelihood with the type of weather we've experienced that Travis Decker is alive at this point?
We'd never presume that he's alive or dead until he's accounted for, found in one fashion or the other. I said it before, I don't believe he's special in any way. He was part of the military. I appreciate his service. Right now, he's a criminal at large. He's wanted for murder and kidnapping. We have other individuals on the ground that are more trained, our instructors in this field, are actual survivalists, and I feel like we have the right members on our team, and he's got a lot of people hunting against him. I've said it before, he's got to be perfect every single day. We just have to be perfect once, and if he is still alive, I got to imagine he's pretty tired by now. But we understand the likelihood that there could be a potential that he is deceased, but until we find him, alive or dead, we're going to continue search.
Question for Agent Orr, if I could.
Sir.
The question was asked, sir, about resources. Jefferson Robin, WLIV TV. The question was asked about FBI resources, and I know this is characterized as a grid search, but can you say anything about the people involved in the grid search? Are there people with specialties, special skills that you wanted to have for this operation?
Yeah, absolutely. So we brought in people with specialty skills. The FBI maintains what's called the evidence response team. We have many of those individuals embedded with the teams. We have members of the FBI SWAT team embedded with each of the search teams that are out there. And to be clear, there are a number of search teams that are searching this area. It's not one big team moving around. It's several smaller teams. So we have those experts there. We have experts from outside agencies that are here. So we have electronics experts currently on the ground right now at the Rock Island campground. So any possible investigative or search personnel that would bring an expertise to the table, they are here today.
The notice of the closure of the Forest Service area came out on Friday. How far in advance was this operation planned?
It's something we've been discussing for a while. It takes a long time to put this many resources, 100 people together with the right expertise in the same place at the same time. We also didn't want to, impact the public unduly, because this is such a popular area. So I would just say weeks and weeks. This has been in the works. Maybe actually more than that.
Were you counting on this weather?
We'll take it. We'll take it.
And once more, when do you guys plan on reopening this area? Obviously, as we discussed, potentially 2 days to start, potentially longer, but what about now, currently?
So right now, the game plan is for the area to be reopened Tuesday evening to the public. If we will change that if something during the search dictates that we need to. But at this point, it will be reopened Tuesday evening.
And around what time? Do we have a time? 5 p.m.
The Forest Service websites post a specific time. I believe it's roughly 5 o'clock. The Forest Service website has it for sure.
When we're talking about this search, is it day and night, or are we doing like a 9 to 5 search? What does that look like?
So it's more daylight hours is when we're searching. Even though it's really hot, we're searching daylight hours. We are going to have personnel overnight at the scene, but they will not be conducting the search. But it's daylight hours searching. That gives us the highest probability of spotting something visually, because this is just an old-fashioned ground search. As Sheriff said, boots on the ground, eyeballs looking at the ground, and for anybody who's gone into this area and.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Literally, they've got to check every inch. I mean, when you see these police searches, we've seen them in all sorts of cases. I know this is a rough terrain, but, when we see it in the UK and it literally fingertip searches, just police in a line going along and checking every inch, every centimetre. I think that's what they need to do here, because he's there somewhere, I think. But oh, please God, I hope they find him. I hope they do.
Right. They know it's thick and dense. For anybody who's gone into this type of area and bushwhacked, which is what the teams are doing now, they know it's incredibly intense. And so it's just very manpower intensive.
And you say overnight personnel, what's their role in all this? What is
security? Yeah, the scene is locked down. We don't want people coming in at night. So we have personnel to lock the scene down.
Is it unusual for the FBI to be involved in a search like this, and why or why not?
No, it's not. This is a federal crime. There's a federal warrant out for Travis Decker, and so it's not unusual.
Yeah.
The FBI can bring, as we've talked about today, a tremendous amount of resources to these problems. A rural area, remote, no cell phone service.
I was just thinking, because there's a reward, the FBI or the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, the reward for finding Sebastian Rogers is $50,000. Now, I'm not saying that shouldn't be. I'm glad it is. But Sebastian Rogers is not a wanted felon who's murdered 3 children. Surely there should be a higher reward on offer for Travis. He's killed 3 children and is supposedly on the run, armed and dangerous. Just makes me wonder. I think they think he probably is deceased. But of course, they don't know for sure.
We can bring those resources to the table. We can partner up with our law enforcement partners to be force multipliers. But at the end of the day, there's a federal crime, several federal crimes that have been committed. And so we're shoulder to shoulder with the sheriff's office.
But why now? It's been almost 3 months. You guys have gone over this a few different times. Several agencies have. You've gone back to Rock Island a few times. Why now? Do you think they'll actually find something different?
Well, we have to believe that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being. You can't be too thorough in a search like this. Like I said, it is such incredibly dense vegetation that anybody who walks down one of these trails could walk 10 meters off the trail and no one would ever know they're there. And so by coming in with a very, I would say, sophisticated search operation where everything has been divided up by GPS coordinates, responsibilities have been divided up very specifically. It's going to be documented electronically and visually what ground has been searched, what's been cleared, so that potentially future teams that come in don't need to go over the same area.
Is there a fear that it's too late? I mean, there's been campers there, there's been people walking through that area, evidence stumped all over. Is it too late?
No, it's never too late to go look for evidence. So no, we don't feel that way.
So I just want to be clear, is there a break in the case here? Does that have anything to do with why they're targeting this area, or is it what I'm hearing? We just need to be abundantly thorough and cover that grid as we know we can do today.
We need to be abundantly thorough and cover that grid very, very thoroughly, because the overgrowth, things on the ground get grown over very quickly. So we just want to be very thorough. There is no break in the case, to use your term.
And the equipment they're going to use, is this just like machetes?
No break in the case?
So there's
equipment?
nothing special. So we have communications equipment back there because there's no cell phone service at all, but we have communications equipment back there so teams can be connected with our resources at FBI headquarters, outside resources if we need to bring additional things in, so the sheriff's office and the FBI can speak. But really, it is old-fashioned hard work, people walking through the woods, looking at the ground within sight of each other, not missing a single square foot to make sure that this area that we were responsible for has been cleared and there's nothing of interest here. We need to now look somewhere else.
Kevin Teeter, KHQ TV. Are you confident that 2 days is enough to cover this, quarter-mile radius beyond the campground?
Yeah, as of now, this is the right amount of time. We may actually be able to expand outside the quarter mile, depending on how the search teams do this afternoon and tomorrow. We may actually go further out than what we initially intended. So,
and I suspect, I don't want to assume that you agree with the sheriff that historically, when you look at other cases, perhaps that are somewhat similar, oftentimes you may find your suspect within that radius.
Yep.
Do you believe that? And,
yeah.
Is that why? Just speak to that for a second.
Yeah, the FBI believes that too, that, generally in these cases, not all the time, but a good amount of time, what we're looking for is not vastly different than the area where the crime occurred. So that is what.
So that's what experience tells them. But as he says, could be different this time. It could be in Canada. There's a lot of talk that he'd gone to Canada, wasn't there? Because he was looking into moving to Canada. And they don't know. But in their, at the end of the day, the experience that they've had in other cases, it means a lot, doesn't it? And that's why they're doing this.
Why we've centered our search operation today on where the crime occurred.
Does anybody think he's got any sort of help?
We're open to all possibilities.
Is there a water element to this search, or the river's been searched once or twice? Sheriff Morrison has all of those searches. This time around too?
Sheriff, you want to speak to the water source? The FBI.
Now the water. This is interesting.
Right now from the Spokane County Sheriff's Office that's evaluating the area, but I don't believe they're in the water today.
Yeah, it's interesting now what he's going to say about the searches they've made of the water. They seem to be satisfied at the moment anyway, that the water's been cleared, but who knows? You know what water's like.
So we brought Spokane County Sheriff's Office's dive team in. There were certain areas that our swiftwater team could not access just because if you're diving underneath log jams. That was an area that we didn't have the equipment for. So Spokane County, thanks to Sheriff Knowles, has offered up their dive team to come in, search areas that we weren't able to get to. They should have their scuba gear, their dive tanks. That's going to allow us to get into areas, again, we weren't able to access. The National Park Service wasn't able to access. But we feel pretty confident with our swiftwater team being in the water twice now to conduct searches since the water's come down. The National Park Service's swiftwater rescue team been in the water for over 4 days. And now we have Spokane County Sheriff's Office's dive team going in the water too. We feel very confident the water's been covered thoroughly. But again, we'll utilize what resources we have to make sure that we didn't leave any stone unturned.
Taylor Caldwell, Board Media. Beyond the grid search, do you guys have any other specific areas that you're keeping an eye on that are identified?
So for today, the operation is the grid search centering the Rock Island campground. There are lots of areas that are interesting around here, of course, that a man can travel to on his 2 feet. But today we're just focused on the Rock Island campground area.
I have a question.
Sir.
Scott Hobson with Fox 13. When you're, maybe not this case necessarily, but in your past experience, what kind of clues might you be looking for? Like maybe Kurt's lose ball caps or shoes or something.
Yeah. We're looking for anything interesting that is in the wilderness that would be left there by a person, specifically a man trying to evade law enforcement. So we're looking for anything.
Have there been any recent sightings?
Pardon me?
Are you guys still hearing from tips on that tip line?
Yeah, absolutely. Tips still come in, and every one of them is evaluated. Like I said, the FBI and partner agencies, the Sheriff's Office, the Marshals have cleared literally hundreds and hundreds of tips. One by one, an agent or an investigator or a team of investigators is clearing each one of those tips. They are still coming in, yes.
Have there been any sightings recently in this area that we might not know?
Not from the FBI's perspective. I don't know, Sheriff, if you followed up anything recently.
So we've had reported sightings. We've had our partnering agencies, and of course our agency also tracked down. They have not turned out to be Travis, but again, we appreciate the community remaining vigilant, reporting it to us. And again, we're not going to overlook any investigation or tip that comes in. So we get it. Just our most recent sighting that we documented over there in Idaho. Clearly, that did not turn out the way we wanted to, but we appreciated the public again being aware of what was going on. Most recently here, I was talking to the sheriff of King County. It sounded like one of their council members that also viewed someone potentially when they were out hiking the Pacific Crest Trail. King County Sheriff's Office went out and did a follow-up on that. We appreciate it. We know they're spending around 12 hours more, from what I understand, doing a search, following up on that information. But again, it didn't pan out. But we continue to get it. Even today, as I was going through my mailbox, we have a couple more potential sightings that came in. We'll forward it back over to our partners, the U.S. Marshals Service and our investigators. But we do have things that we're following up on. And again, we appreciate the public for helping us out.
So I bet they can't wait for that press conference to be over. Now I'm going to release that press conference without any commentary, just the press conference, because some people just like to listen to it themselves. It's fair enough. And as you know, I am going to split this live video into 4 videos. The update on Travis, the Lily and Jack Sullivan update that I've already covered, the baby Emmanuel that I've covered. And now, just to finish off, I'm just going to look at just something that, well, maybe it shouldn't make me laugh, but it always makes me laugh, about Erin Patterson. And these, let me just take off these girls. Photo. Yeah, a little look at Erin, how the media, not the media, the sketch artists. I've come to, since I've been covering Australian cases, I don't think the sketch artists are very good. They need some new sketch artists, I think. But what do I know? Let's have a look at these sketches that were made of Erin when she appeared in court. So, of course, Erin Patterson, the court update, the victim impact statements we looked at yesterday, we might have a little look at those again I had a video actually that had them. I might have a look at that. But first of all, I just want to show you the sketches that were made of Erin. What do you think? Look, this to me, I don't know, it looks like some famous artist like Scream or something. What does that that sketch remind me of? Doesn't, feel like it's Erin Patterson exactly. It looks like a famous painting. I think it might be Scream, that famous painting Scream. What do you think? Do you think it's a good what's the word? Do you think that's a good representation of Erin Patterson? Let me have a look at the Scream photo. She did she looked like prison's not agreeing with her. She did look like. Let me have a look for the painting that I think it reminds me of. I don't know why it reminds me of this, but it does. Yeah, this is the Scream. Is it in this style? I don't know. I expect Erin's doing quite a lot of screaming in prison. Don't you think? So let me see. Where's the picture again? Oh, maybe it's the style, isn't it? The brush strokes or whatever. I mean, normally when they do sketches, they are literally just sketches, but this looks like it's had a lot of work put into it, doesn't it? And it really reminds me of the Scream picture. Anyway, maybe it's just me. I get these visual things, I've compared it to General Groundwork from Watership Down. I've had that, oh God, what's the name, that one, that covered that looked like the Joker, Stephanie Lazarus. I'm going to put them together in pictures and put them out on my channel because, in fact, I'm going to, let me download one of these. So I've ended up doing this theme of comparing killers to famous works of art. Let me download the other one. Let's go back to the original sketch. Let's download it. Oh, what happened there? No, that wasn't supposed to happen. Oh no. I've lost it now. Where's it gone? Oh, I've lost it. Brilliant. I pressed the wrong button and it went off. Right, it was on X. Hang on, sorry. God, you've only got to press one button and everything disappears. I don't think it was ABC News, it was another one. That's so annoying. Sorry, I can't find it. I had these sketches that I was wanting to show you of it. And I've pressed the wrong button, it's disappeared. I'll find it though. August the 25th, well, it was after that. Oh my God. How can they just disappear? I don't know, it can just disappear, but it has. So, it's not appearing. Ah, there it is. Right, sorry, it took so long. Right, sorry, you've probably all fallen asleep by now. Hi, Bluebell. Probably all fallen asleep by now. It took so long to find what I was looking for. So yeah, these sketches. So that one to me looks like Scream. I'm going to put the two of them together. I like to do this. I'm going to do a few of these, putting murderers next to people that, or characters or paintings that they remind me of. Because it's interesting, not for any other reason. Probably thinking, oh my God. But so let's have a look at this. I will get there in the end. I should have prepared this, shouldn't I? Oh, you can tell I'm getting tired now because it's taking me even longer than it normally does to do everything. Anyway, bear with. Make a cup of tea. Probably got time to cook a meal. Right, let's find the screen picture, put it next to it. I've got too many photos on my computer, that's the problem. I have to blooming scroll through them all. Yeah, so this sketch of Erin, to me, looks like the famous picture, the Scream. So maybe it's just because of the techniques of the artist. I noticed as I was Googling for this, there's quite a few articles about the artists that have done the trials and things. Like done Erin's trial, and then of course we'll have Samantha Murphy's trial coming up next year. And we've already seen some sketches of Patrick Stevenson, which haven't been very good, to be honest. Right, I've done it. I've just got to upload it now. It'll all be worth it in the end. It's nice to see them next to each other because I was showing you like the Erin sketch and then showing you the thing, but you put them together. Look, that's what she looks like, doesn't she? Scream, and she will be screaming inside, won't she? You know, there's quite a powerful message there, I think. Of course, the other one I showed of her that I did of her before was that other sketch or that mural that reminded me of General Roundwort, is it? Or Woundwort, General Woundwort from Watership Down. If anybody's ever seen that film, reminded me of her. So she's got two, and then I'm going to put Stephanie Lazarus together with the Joker, because she looks like the Joker because she's always bloody grinning. Yeah, I'm going to do a few of them. But anyway, so going back to the sketch, totally got distracted there. These are the different sketches. Yeah, she's really made her look miserable, and she probably was miserable because she was listening to all the victim impact statements. This was yesterday. And it was supposed to last 2 days, this, but it finished in 1 day. And now we're just waiting for the sentencing, which will be the 8th of September, a Monday. I mean, they don't look like, that doesn't look anything like Erin, does it? I'm sorry, I don't think it does. I'm trying to think who it does look like. Looks like some other strange person, but yeah, I don't think the sketches are very good, like accurate. I don't know how good they're supposed to be. I'm trying to think about the ones we get in the UK. If there's, I don't think I've ever seen one in Spain. Don't seem to get these sketches in Spain. They just show the person, I think. Yeah, it's a different system in Spain. But these sketches, you know, where photos aren't allowed to be taken, but instead sketches are made. I'm sure they're better in Britain. I haven't been impressed with the Australian ones. I'm sorry, I haven't. I mean, that's me. If you didn't know, if that wasn't presented to you as part of the Erin Patterson sort of news, you wouldn't know that that was Erin. If somebody just showed you that sketch and said, who do you think this is? You wouldn't know it was Erin, would you? Doesn't look like her, does it? Let me know what you think. Wasn't moved. So, Joanne, I'm glad to hear you've got over your flu. It's funny, you're looking there in Australia, you're looking forward to the lighter nights and the warmer and sunnier days. Here in Spain, I'm looking forward to the darker nights because it's 30 degrees again at the moment. I'm looking forward to cold temperature, not cold, but I'm looking forward to sort of 20s temperatures. It's funny, look at that. I mean, that just does not look like Erin, does it? But anyway, there you go. Right, now we've got a video. Always like a video, don't we? If there is one. Watch the video above. No video. Right, okay. Watch the video above. Can't see a video. I'm sure there will be videos somewhere. Anyway, we watched quite a few videos yesterday, but I felt that I had a video. So don't forget, when it comes to the sentencing, the prosecution have asked for life without parole. Even the defence has said, Mr. Mandy, even he has accepted that it should be life, but he has asked for parole when she's in her 80s or whatever. You know, so we'll see what Justice Beale comes up with. Right, I think that's all I've got for you for this video now. But it's been, you know, we've been through quite a lot. Yeah. That's it for now. Bluebell, I haven't made it to the pool not one time yet. Now it's still open for another week. Well, maybe 2 weeks, depending on how the weather goes. But no, I have not made it to the pool. I'm really annoyed with myself. I'm too busy on on YouTube normally. Or if I've either had classes in the morning. In the mornings I haven't got classes. I'm either shopping or I'm on YouTube. But I shouldn't, it's ridiculous, isn't it? But to be honest, there's been times it's just been too hot to go to the pool, even in the morning. It's not now. I could go to the pool now, but I'm not going to go because I'm going to go and have my lunch probably. And I'll probably be back with you guys later on today, depending on what happens. Now, remember, when America wakes up at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, as far as Spain's concerned, we could have some news about the Harrows. They might have been released from prison. Maybe not. Maybe baby Emmanuel will have been found. We just don't know what's going to happen. I think one thing we always have to remember, even when we're watching mainstream media, social media, we don't know, and they don't know any more than us what is going to happen. And the police, law enforcement, the only ones who have the official news. Whatever you agree with or don't agree with, and sometimes rumors come out, and sometimes they turn out to be true, sometimes they don't. But we don't know, and I like to deal with what actually happens, not this might happen and that might not happen. So, yeah, could be that when America wakes up, the Harrows are released. But believe me, if they are released, won't be for long. That's another thing that happens. Quite often people, they're released because the police haven't got enough right in that very moment, and then they're arrested again a couple of hours later, or perhaps there was something wrong with the initial arrest, so they release them so they can arrest them again. There'll be all sorts going on in that case that we haven't got a clue about, including, sort of where baby Emmanuel is. And I just hope to God that little boy's found. I hope that Jack and Lily are found. We're going to put a candle up for that. There's so many people missing that don't ever get found. And yes, so many murderers that don't ever get found out. It's very sad, isn't it? So this candle is for all the missing that they get found, and the perpetrators that they get what they deserve. Okay, I'm going. Have a very good day, or a very good afternoon, or a very good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. There'll be more craziness later or tomorrow. One thing you can bet on, there'll always be a little bit more craziness, won't there? So, that's it. I'll see you soon in the next video. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Let me put my little banner on. Think about becoming a member. We're nearly at Members Live again on Thursday night. And thank you for everything. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Bye. Thank you. Put my outro video.